of the box behind red. Spots the head but can't find it. SPIIDI, meanwhile, waiting for the push at B to...
What's going on, boys? What's going on? And I know right now you guys are saying, Dan M, what's going on in this clip, Dan M? SPIIDI just dies! And boys, what's going on here is SPIIDI's using an aimbot. And SPIIDI's aimbot is fucking up. And I'm going to explain it to you guys right now.
Spots the head but can't find it. SPIIDI, spots the head but can't find it. SPIIDI, spots the head but can't find it. SPIIDI.
So boys, in order for aimbots to be effective, they have to obviously look legit if that's what you're using them for. Now there's many different things that do this. One thing is a smooth setting that makes it look more smooth and not as jerky and robotic. There's also something called a field of view. Now the higher you set the field of view, makes a greater chance for the aimbot to activate. So if you have your field of view set to 1, your crosshair has to be pretty darn close to the target, within like a couple pixels. If you set it to 3, maybe 6 to 10 pixels. You know, the higher up you go, if you got it set to 30, fuck, you can be like 6 to 7 models away and you'll probably start aiming at them. So myself and a lot of other players that think pros are cheating, what we think they're doing in most situations when they're not using an aim lock is they're using a very small FOV aimbot, okay, with a very high smooth setting. So in some cases, I think that, you could have, in some cases I think that you could have it set very low to 0.25 or 0.50 just help you with that little bit. And no one would ever know. It looks 100% legit. No one would ever see anything. And in some cases, what I think they do is they have another key that they can toggle that's a little higher of an FOV, maybe 1, 2, or 3. And whenever, you know, they need to get some nice flick shots, they toggle this on, and it still looks legit because of their smooth settings. Now, boys, what SPIIDI does in this fucking clip is absolutely cheats, guys. At this point, I'm not going to be calling this fucking evidence. I think this is 100% legit aimbot. If you watch this clip in slow motion, number one, he can barely even see the enemy through the smoke. I actually went in game, boys, because I was so sure that this was his aimbot screwing up, okay? So what I want to show you guys is a couple things here. Number one, he can barely even see the enemies. The enemy he can see is the one he's first shooting at. Now, if you watch the clip on a browser, the video, you can't really tell he actually is shooting at the first enemy first. If you watch in slow motion, you can actually see he does start firing at the first enemy, boys. So the problem with this clip is, boys, the second enemy he can barely even see. So he starts firing at the enemy, then switches targets. Even watching this in slow motion, boys, the time it would take to react to switch targets, even in slow motion, is quite difficult. Imagine him switching targets like this in real time. He had to consciously think of this, okay? Even subconsciously, if this was just a reaction, no one has this reaction time, guys. This is probably like not even a couple milliseconds. This is extremely fast. And boys, the reason I know this is an aimbot, and this is his aimbot changing targets when it shouldn't have been, is very obvious to me. Now, boys, if you look very, very closely here, boys, what do you notice? You notice that Twist is slightly ahead of Lecro here. Not by very much, but he's ahead of him. And what most aimbots do, boys, to look legit, is they aim to the closest enemy within a certain field of view. Now, these enemies are very close, again. So this does fuck with it, okay? Now, clearly, this enemy is just a little bit ahead of him. So the aimbot takes over, decides this is the more legit target, and clearly the aimbot tries to lock on, but there's enough aim punch that it's fucking with it. Now, boys, the aim locks are one thing. Now, I know people fucking say aim lock for fucking everything. I watched this retarded fucking video, man. I mean, this Nick Bunyan guy, I don't really mind him at all, but this guy, he's calling regular aimbots aim locks. And I guess what has been now become the definition of an aim lock, at least in my opinion, and what I've been using it as, and what it started out as. People were just saying aim locks when someone locked through the wall onto an enemy when X-ray's on. So they'd be called an aim lock because their aim would lock onto them. Now, there's no such thing as an actual fucking aim lock. I just started using aim lock because it seemed like that's what people were calling when you lock on an enemy through the wall. So that's what has become aim lock. Now, it's actually just an aimbot doing these movements. But the reason it's called an aim lock instead of an aimbot is because it's locking on through the wall, and it's not used purposely to get headshots. It's used more for information. So that's why I've been calling it an aim lock. And it technically is an aimbot, though. But an aimbot in the sense of to get headshots and to do aim assistance is like this one right here. A small FOV aimbot is used to move your crosshair onto a bone of the enemy to help your aim, obviously. And this one with SPIIDI is just one of the many things that are being used by the pros. I think I have another clip actually right here. I know you guys are gonna say, "Oh, Dan ammo! Oh, Dan ammo! Oh my God!" Oh. I know you guys are gonna say, "Oh, it's just a fucking flick shot." Hey guys, it might be a fucking flick shot, but at the same time, if you look very closely, when he's peeking out, at first he's going to kind of peek window. His crosshair moves up a bit, and then you actually see it. You actually see it lock right onto SPIIDI before it flicks down to Chris J. Now, if you guys are saying this is just a flick, okay, now explain this to me. So, if it's just a flick, why wouldn't he be shooting Chris J? Again, in the time it takes for you to actually think about this stuff, he wouldn't have time to think to himself, "Oh, well, this guy's got his gun on me. I guess I'm going to shoot him first." No, he would be shooting Chris J first, then flick down. But immediately, his crosshair flicks right down to Chris J, and then starts firing with a very sketchy ass move. There's also another clip by Flusha. It was a while ago. It's the one on Mirage when he's in B site and he's spraying the one guy, and the other guy pops out from the left and he just automatically headshots him. It's very similar to that. But yeah, boys, take a look at this part, especially when he's starting to look at window and unnaturally flicks to SPIIDI and then flicks down again. That's the most important part, is these unnatural flicks. That is the aimbot taking over, guys, and that's what's happening here. Now, boys, I know I got a bit riled up here and was calling these guys out fully, but take this with a grain of salt, boys. I was just getting riled up. This could be nothing, but in my experience using cheats, I've had this happen before. I've had it happen where I was locking onto one guy and he switched targets on me, and it's very shady. So I just want to show you guys this. I hope you guys have a good day, and take care.